Do you believe that only lucky people become millionaires? That you need a high-paying job? Or be born into a rich family? If yes, you're not alone. But you're wrong. Chris Hogan interviewed over 10,000 millionaires, and what he discovered shattered the world's assumptions. Most of these millionaires started with average salaries, didn't win the lottery, didn't have a rich uncle, yet they still achieved financial freedom and did it early. In this video, we'll uncover how millionaires think, the daily habits they follow, and most importantly, what they don't do that most people do. So if you've ever thought, I can become wealthy one day, it's not just a dream, it's a roadmap, and that roadmap is hidden inside this book. Let's start with the truth that could change your financial future. Chapter 1. The Myths of Becoming a Millionaire. Have you ever believed that becoming a millionaire requires inheriting a fortune or launching the next billion-dollar startup? Chris Hogan completely debunks that. This book begins with the largest millionaire survey ever done in the US. Over 10,000 millionaires answered, and the results were shocking. Reality versus myth. 79% didn't inherit any wealth. 7 out of 8 were completely self-made. They weren't doctors or CEOs. Many were teachers, accountants, mechanics, and even police officers. What was their common formula? Discipline, long-term saving, and smart investing. Chris Hogan's biggest point? Becoming a millionaire doesn't depend on IQ or income. It depends on your habits, choices, and patience. Most millionaires built their net worth slowly over 30 to 40 years, not overnight. Key takeaways. You don't need to win the lottery. Your background or salary doesn't define your financial destiny. Personal finance is about self-control and consistency. So if building wealth isn't magic but a matter of habits, do you know how millionaires actually manage their money? Do they budget differently? Do they track every dollar? Find out in the next chapter, where we uncover the money management habits of real millionaires. Chapter 2. They take full responsibility. Chris Hogan says the #1 rule of becoming a millionaire is, take responsibility for your life. What does that mean? Real millionaires don't blame others. They don't say, my job sucks, or I never had money. Instead, they say, I'll start with what I have. In his research, Hogan found that every millionaire had one key trait. They never adopted a victim mindset. They knew the system might be unfair, their circumstances might be tough, but they never quit. They took full ownership of their money, spending, and future. A powerful story. One woman worked part-time jobs for 8 years after college, but she still started saving, little by little. Today, her net worth is over $1.2 million. She said, I didn't want options. I wanted ownership. Chris Hogan puts it simply, when you take the wheel of your own life, that's when real progress begins. This chapter teaches us, millionaire thinking starts with internal responsibility, not external excuses. Your attitude and discipline are your biggest assets. Now that we understand that, if you're taking responsibility, have you defined your financial priorities yet? Do you know what your money is meant to do? In the next chapter, we'll learn how millionaires discover their why and how it becomes the strongest foundation of their financial journey. Chapter 3. They make intentional decisions. Chris Hogan makes a powerful statement in this chapter. You don't become wealthy by accident. You do it on purpose. True millionaires make every decision intentionally, whether it's buying a house, a car, or going on vacation. Their choices are based on logic and goals, not emotions. The millionaire mindset. Most of the 10,000 millionaires Hogan interviewed had one thing in common. They had a clear life plan and set financial goals, like, I'll be debt-free in 10 years. I'll invest $500 monthly for retirement. They understood, if you don't control your money, it will control you. They tracked expenses, avoided impulsive buys, and gave every dollar a job. That doesn't mean they're stingy. It means they knew even small expenses could either help or hurt their freedom. Real example, one couple stopped eating out every weekend and put that money into a mutual fund. In 20 years, that grew to over $200,000. The lesson? Be intentional with every dollar, every investment, every financial move. That's how millionaires are made. Now ask yourself, have you ever truly defined the ultimate purpose of your money? Or are you just stuck in survival mode? In the next chapter, we'll explore the power of vision and purpose, and how millionaires use it to drive every financial step forward. Chapter 4. Millionaires are goal-oriented. Chris Hogan reveals, millionaires don't get rich by chance. They use clear, written, and actionable goals. What's the secret? They don't just dream. They turn dreams into steps. Hogan says, having goals is like giving your GPS a destination. No address equals no direction. What are SMART goals? Chris explains that every financial goal must be S. Specific, M. Measurable, A. Achievable, R. Relevant, T. Time-bound. Example, I'll save 500,000 rupees for emergencies in the next 2 years. That's a smart goal. With written goals, millionaires become hyper-focused. They know what they want, when, and how to get there. The impact of goals. With a clear goal, distractions lose power. Every decision becomes purposeful. Financial habits become strategic. Interestingly, Hogan says, 90% of millionaires didn't consider themselves naturally disciplined. But once they started setting goals, they gained self-respect and control. And remember, every big financial goal begins with small, consistent steps. No one gets rich in one day, but with vision and daily action, anyone can get there. So now think, have you ever written down your financial goals? Or are they just floating in your mind? In the next chapter, we'll explore how discipline and consistency become the real superpowers of millionaires, and why these are worth more than any bank balance. Chapter 5. They stay consistent. In this chapter, Chris Hogan delivers a simple truth. The biggest secret to building wealth isn't luck, it's consistency. Consistency equals superpower. Millionaires don't make one big move. They make small, right choices, day after day, like saving every month, sticking to a budget, avoiding unnecessary spending, investing, no matter what the market looks like. Hogan shares that most millionaires don't live flashy lifestyles. In fact, they may seem boring from the outside, but it's their consistent habits that make them rich. The power of compounding. If you invest 5,000 rupees every month at 12% annual return, in 30 years, you'll have 1.75 crore rupees plus. Why? Because small, smart steps done consistently explode over time. Discipline motivation. Hogan says, millionaires aren't always motivated. They just stay disciplined. Motivation is a one-day feeling. Discipline is an everyday strength. Real story. A school bus driver with an average salary invested consistently for 35 years. At retirement, his net worth was over 6 crore rupees. He didn't get lucky. He got consistent. Now ask yourself, do you follow financial discipline every day? Or only get excited when your salary hits the account? In the next chapter, we'll learn how millionaires manage their money intentionally and how they make every dollar work for them, like an employee. Chapter 6. Millionaires manage their money with purpose. In this chapter, Chris Hogan explains that real millionaires don't just earn money, they give every dollar a mission. They don't let their money sit idle. They give it direction and purpose. Every day, we make decisions like what to buy, where to spend, how much to save, where to invest. But millionaires don't make these decisions randomly. They act intentionally, based on their long-term goals. Chris writes, if you don't control your money, it will control you. Budgeting equals freedom tool. Millionaires don't see budgets as limiting. They see them as a freedom plan. Budgets give them clarity. How much is coming in, where it's going, what's truly necessary, and what's being wasted. Intentional people ask themselves, is this spending helping build my long-term wealth? Goal-based living. Every millionaire has a clear financial vision. Early retirement, kids' education, a debt-free life, or their dream home. Every decision, every investment, every savings move, it all points to that vision. Real-life example. Chris shares the story of a couple making under $50,000 a year. But by managing every dollar with intention for 20 years, they became debt-free millionaires. It wasn't about income. It was about intentional money management. Now ask yourself, do you just let your money come and go? Or do you assign every dollar a job? In the next chapter, we'll learn one of the most unique traits of millionaires. They don't make excuses, they take responsibility. Are you ready to take full control of your financial life? Chapter 7. Millionaires choose responsibility over excuses. In this powerful chapter, Chris Hogan makes a bold claim. Real millionaires never live in a victim mindset. Their belief is, I am where I am because of the choices I've made. Excuses versus ownership. Most people say, I don't make enough money. I don't understand finance. I come from a poor background. But the millionaire mindset says, I can learn. I'll grow from my mistakes. I own my money. They focus on solutions, not problems. There are no shortcuts. Chris makes it clear. There's no jackpot, no miracle, no luck involved. Millionaires track every expense, invest time in financial education, admit their mistakes, and then fix them. Mindset equals true wealth. Wealth doesn't start with your income. It starts with how you think. It's not about how much you make, it's about what you do with it. Millionaires empower themselves. They stop blaming and start acting. Real story. Chris shares a story of a single mom with 2 kids and a modest job. One day she decided, no more excuses, just action. Today she's a millionaire, and her children are getting a debt-free education. Now it's your turn to reflect. Do you blame others for your financial condition? Or do you lead yourself like a true wealth builder? Next chapter, discover the secret habit all millionaires share. They have honest financial conversations with themselves. Chapter 8. Millionaires make intentional choices. Chris Hogan dives into a powerful core habit. Millionaires live on purpose, not by accident. They don't make financial decisions blindly. Everything is thoughtful and strategic. Becoming rich isn't an accident. People often say, if only I had a higher salary, if only I got lucky, if only I had the right opportunity. But millionaires say, I'll maximize what I already have. They guide their money, not let it slip through their fingers. Goal setting and planning. True millionaires write down financial goals, create monthly budgets, plan for both short and long-term needs. Chris shares how one couple set their retirement date 10 years in advance, and every single financial move since then was aligned with that date. Focus means saying no. Intentionality also means avoiding distractions. No unnecessary EMIs. No impulse buying. No spending to impress. Every decision is filtered through one question. Does this help or hurt my wealth journey? Time to reflect. Have you ever set a specific financial direction for your money? Or are you just letting things go with the flow? Because in the next chapter, you'll learn how millionaires practice delayed gratification, turning today's sacrifices into tomorrow's financial freedom. Chapter 9. Millionaires play the long game. Chris Hogan emphasizes a crucial truth. The real power of millionaires lies in their patience and planning. They don't chase overnight success. They understand that wealth takes years of discipline. Slow and steady wins the race. People often ask, how can I become a millionaire with a low salary? The answer lies in the millionaire mindset. Invest regularly, even if it's a small amount. Let compound interest do the magic. Practice long-term patience. Chris shares that most millionaires took 20 to 30 years to reach their goals, but they stayed consistent and undistracted the entire time. No chasing trends. Real millionaires don't fall for crypto get-rich-quick hype. Avoid lottery thinking. Ignore viral schemes. Stick to their own strategy. One millionaire once told Chris, everyone's chasing shortcuts. I chose the long road, and it took me exactly where I wanted to go. Ready for slow success? Intentionality over time means small monthly savings, regular investments, faith in the process, even if you don't see results right away, because becoming a true millionaire is a marathon, not a sprint. Now ask yourself, have you allowed your money to grow over time? Or do you keep switching strategies looking for quick returns? Are you ready for a long-term wealth plan, one that takes time but delivers real financial freedom? In the final chapter, we'll discover the ultimate truth. Millionaires don't keep wealth to themselves. They build legacies. Chapter 10. Millionaires know wealth is more than money. In this final chapter, Chris Hogan shares a beautiful truth. Real millionaires don't just chase money, they give it purpose. Their goal isn't just to grow their bank balance. It's to create impact with the money they've built. True meaning of wealth. Millionaires often say, money is just a tool. And they use that tool to fund better education for their kids, care for aging parents, support causes they believe in, and most importantly, take control of their life. Legacy thinking. True millionaires don't build wealth just for themselves. They focus on generational wealth, so their decisions impact future generations positively. Chris says, the greatest millionaires leave behind more than money. They leave behind values, principles, and life lessons. They don't just give their kids money. They give them financial education, discipline, and mindset. Give more, live more. Chris highlights stories of millionaires who live modestly, but donate millions to hospitals, schools, and charities. They believe, we rise by lifting others. Their joy doesn't come from bank statements. It comes from making a difference. Now, one final question. Are you just trying to make money? Or are you building a life that will be remembered even after you're gone? Are you spending your wealth or transforming it into a legacy? Final thoughts. Here's what we learned from Everyday Millionaires. Millionaires aren't born. They're made. Wealth comes from mindset and habits. Anyone can become a millionaire with the right thinking, discipline, and long-term vision. So if you've followed along till here, one thing is clear. Real millionaires don't live for show. They live with discipline. They don't trust luck. They trust planning and consistency. Chris Hogan proved, becoming a millionaire isn't a fantasy, it's a choice. And now that choice is yours. If this video gave you clarity and confidence, like it, subscribe to Invested Intellect, and comment below. What was your biggest takeaway from this book? We'll be back soon with another life-changing book summary. Because here at Invested Intellect, we don't just share books. We build mindsets.